Hey designer, Alex here, welcome to the channel, and in today's video we are going to create a nice and simple loader. So with the addition of Adobe XD and its latest features and updates, we are now able to animate paths. So I thought it would be a good idea just to explore it a little bit with a nice and simple loader. So if I show you what I mean, here I have this nice and simple loader. So when I click right here, you're going to see the path animating as well as the text loading. When it gets to 100%, it will transition into your design, whichever design you included to be transitioned to, and I'm going to show you that as well. All of that in today's video, and it's going to be a nice and simple one, so let's get started. Alright, so here is how our project is going to look like. So I have these two designs right here, and I already created a tutorial series on the channel. I will leave the link down in the description so you guys can check it out, see how it's created, and of course create it yourself. You can get these files on Patreon if you want to support the channel, but if not, you can simply use whatever icons and images you want. And I simply use this design to give it some visual interest and also to show you guys what you can do with your designs and how you can transition from this animation to the actual design. So if we go back to the design, here is how it's looked like. So you can see that we have three artboards. We have this design which is finished, and we have this loader artboard, and I also have these two colors right here which are simply taken from this design. So basically I'm going to use these two colors, and first thing I'm going to create is ellipse, and let's round it up to 500 by 500. I'm going to position it to the center of my artboard like so. Next I'm going to use the text tool, and I'm going to write in a loading like so. Make sure text is from the center. I'm going to use pop-ins, and I'm going to increase the size to, let's say, I don't know, 30. I think that's good, or maybe 24, because we don't need this text to be too large, like so. I'm going to use this color, and I think that looks quite well. One more thing, I'm going to position it to the center, and I'm going to position this to be around 60, so like this. You can hold your Alt and hover to see where you are from this. Next, I'm going to switch to my layer panel and call this outer, and I'm going to remove the fill color, increase the size of my border to 30, and I'm going to sample this other color which I already created. So let me go back to here. So one more time, I'm going to click on my border, click right here to sample this color, and I'm going to lower down the opacity of it to 30. You can use this slider or hit 3 on your keyboard, whichever it's easier to you. Hit Ctrl D and call this one inner, like so. I'll hit 0 on my keyboard, or you can increase the opacity like so. And now comes the fun part and the update of Adobe XD itself. I'm going to first increase the gap to 1250, like this, press enter. And I'm going to leave the dash at 0. Now if I click right here, hold my shift and up arrow, you can see how all of this looks like. So you can see now if we increase it to, I don't know, let's say like this, so 1580 or even 1600, go back to 0. But when I start increasing it, you can see that it starts from here, which means that our gap is nowhere near big enough and we need to increase it. So let's increase it to 1600, for example. And now if I hold my shift key, you can see that it starts from the center. Now you can see that we have this straight line right here, and you can use it if you want to, but if not, you can simply click right here where it says round cap. You also have projecting cap, and this is the butt cap. So click round cap, and you're going to get these round edges at the end. I'm going to go back to 0, and you can see that we have this small dot right here. You can fix that by reducing its opacity, and in the next stage increase its opacity. So it's really all up to you what you can do, but to keep things simple, I'm just going to leave it like so. Next, I'm going to select my loading text, hit Ctrl D, position it right here, and increase it to, let's say, Poppins. I'm going to use extra bold, and by the way, Poppins is a free Google font, and I will leave the link down in the description for you guys to click and download it if you don't have it. I will go to 90, so nice and big, position it down in the center like so, and what I'm going to do is use basically like this, so I don't know, 0 0 and then %. like so. And we can even increase it further if we want to, so let's say 100 if you think it's not too big. Next, I'm going to create 2 more copies, so hit Ctrl D, or even 1 copy. And on this one, I will hide it, and on this one, I will simply leave this percentage because it's going to stay fixed. I'm going to move it right here. Next, on this one, I will hit 0, and then position it somewhere around here. Next, I will unzoom, double click and type in, first press enter to go down a line, then type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like that. And I'm going to left align it and then simply increase the line spacing to something like this, for example, so 123. Next, I'm going to hit Ctrl C, then hold my Alt to duplicate this, make sure it's aligned like so, and you can also click right here to make sure it's dead in the center. And what I'm going to do is double click right here, hit enter, Ctrl V to position these down right like so. And I did this just so that we have a variety when it starts shuffling through these numbers, so you're going to see that in a second. Next, I'm going to make sure that all of them are positioned evenly, so make sure this is in the center. It is, so just make sure that all of them are lined up. Next, let's see, maybe we can increase it to 10, you can see, and this one is way too big, so let's see, to 10 like so. Next, I'm going to use a rectangle tool, but first let's order them. So this goes right here because it's first, this is second, third, and now these two go down. So I'm going to use a rectangle tool to create a mask, and you can simply use a rectangle like this, and you can extend it, for example, like this. I'm going to make sure it's in the center, and if I remove my fill, you can see how it looks like. So maybe we can simply position it to somewhere around here. Now this part doesn't really matter how your rectangle looks like, it's just there for the mask. So I'm going to write in mask, I'm going to use it, hold the shift key, select all of them, hit shift Ctrl M to create a mask, call it mask, like that. And basically our design is completed. What I'm going to do is create another instance of this artboard. So hit Ctrl D. And because these two are at 70, I'll make sure this is at 70 as well, like this, and then simply move this one to be at 70 as well, just to keep things nice and simple. So what I'm going to do with this one is, on this inner one, you can see we are at 1600. I'm going to select that as well, so it's filled out. And now on these ones, I'm going to select these ones and simply go down, select my number 9, and make sure it lines up at the bottom with this percentage one. And with this one, I'm going to do the same thing, but go up to 99 or 98, whatever you want. Make sure they all align like so. And that's basically it. That's all you need to do to create this one. You can see without talking, basically, you can get this done in order of minutes. In just a couple of minutes, you can create something like this. You can even go a little bit further and create drop shadows and animate those. But for now, we're just going to leave it at this. Now let's animate it. And to start animate it, what I'm going to do is go to prototype. I'm going to simply click right here to select my numbers because I want animation to start somewhere. Now usually with this type of animation it's automated, but if you want to show this to your client, you may want to give them the option to click it. So basically that's why we are doing it from here. So select these, I'm going to drag and drop it. I'm going to use tap. Instead of transition, I'm going to use auto animate, easy in out, and duration, let's give it some nice and big, so 5 seconds. Now from here to our design, what we're going to do is actually use time. I'm going to drag it. Instead of tap, I'm going to use time, delay, which basically means how long it's going to last before it transitions to this screen. I'm going to give it something like 0.8 seconds, I think maybe even 0.6, but let's experiment and see where we are. Instead of auto animate, I'm going to use transition. I'm going to use dissolve, easy in out, and I'm going to use the same value as I did right here, so 0.8 seconds, and let's see what that does. So if I click right here to start my preview, you can see why I chose the tap, because it still didn't start, but when I tap right here, you can see it starts going, and all of these numbers go to 99, and then it transitioned to this screen. If I take you back one more time, so once again, click right here. It starts going, it's nice and smooth, these corners are rounded, goes to 99, and basically takes you back to this screen where you want to interact with it and do whatever you want with it depending on what you did with your design. So that's basically it for this video. You can see how easy and simple this is to create. I really encourage you guys to check it out, and in order for this to work on your computer, make sure you have the latest update of Adobe XD installed. Play around with it, see what you can create, and one more time, if you want to check out how I created this design, I will leave the link down in the description to the playlist so you guys can check it out and follow it. If you want to get these files, make sure to go to Patreon if you want to support the channel. And that's basically it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked it and I hope you found some value in it. If you did, make sure to press that like button. I upload new videos every single week on design, passive income techniques, motivation and more. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.